This is Kanye West, and he might be the most important artist to have ever lived, but not for the reasons you're probably thinking. You see, over the last 2 decades, Kanye has given us a front row seat to all the pain and sacrifice that comes with trying to make it.
Y'all don't know what's going on. I went up head to head with these man, and I'm still alive.
To the casual viewer, it's easy to dismiss him as a crazy billionaire.
The breaking news tonight, Kanye West hospitalized.
But to anyone who's trying to figure it out, Kanye is you. He's not the first person to speak out against the industry.
This business has always been weird like that.
Corporations only know how to do business one way, and they just straight up steal.
But he's the first person to survive the effects of doing it. So how did he do it? After months of studying Kanye, I finally figured it out. The secret that's been hiding in plain sight.
Go listen to all my music. It's the code to self-esteem, to make you believe that you could overcome that situation that you're dealing with all the time. You will believe in yourself.
In this video, I'm gonna show you why Kanye West is the most relatable artist of this generation and the formula that has turned him into everyone's favorite bad guy.
If you're a Kanye West fan, you're not a fan of me, you're a fan of yourself.
This is a version of Kanye that you've never seen before, but before we begin, please take a second to hit the subscribe button. I make videos that make life feel more normal, and with your feedback, it'll help me tell better stories and make better videos. Kanye West experienced his first bipolar episode at just 5 years old.
I think it's good that when I had my first complete blackout at age 5, my mom didn't fully medicate me because I might have never been Ye.
This wouldn't be the first time his mother, Dr. Donda West, would go against others' advice on things they thought would make him a more well-rounded human. Despite Kanye being a gifted child, when Donda tried to enroll him in kindergarten, the teachers tried to hold him back due to his lack of social skills. They told her, Kanye doesn't work well with others. He's self-centered and needs another year to adjust. But instead, Donda decided that the teachers were the problem and found a new school for Kanye to attend. Unfortunately, this wasn't a one-time thing. Throughout Kanye's childhood, Donda's friends and family constantly told her she was spoiling him. They thought she didn't discipline him enough, and that she allowed him to do and say things that he shouldn't. It was so bad that she even broke up with one of her long-term boyfriends due to their disagreeing in how she chose to parent Kanye.
He was a very creative kid, but he didn't want anything to interfere with his music.
They say your life can change in 6 months if you sacrifice. But what they don't tell you is how many years it takes to get to that point. Kanye started writing poetry at just 5 years old. From that moment on, he was determined to be a star. He was a kid in class who performed in all the talent shows and spent weeks practicing just to make sure he had the best performance.
You were on every talent show, remember?
It got to the point where my show, I knew I was going to get first place. I had to help other people with their stuff.
Donda believed in his creativity, so she encouraged him to express himself through music, fashion, and anything else he wanted to try. Whenever Kanye could find an audience, he was gonna put on a show. But that's when everything changed. Donda had some big news for Kanye, but it wasn't quite what he wanted to hear. She had just accepted a brand new job that would require both of them to relocate 7,000 miles away to China. This was Kanye's first of many major roadblocks in chasing his dreams. But after a year in China, they decided it was time to go home. If stage 1 of Kanye's life was about finding who he was, then stage 2 was undoubtedly about finding success. But what exactly makes someone successful? Well, to understand success, you have to understand 2 concepts. It all starts with trust.
The primary currency is building trust with an audience. That takes a different set of materials than engaging them.
And respect.
Let me give everybody who's watching me a piece of advice. When someone does not respect you, any further communication with that person is a waste of time.
Over the last 20 years, Kanye's success has been a direct result of how much people trusted and respected him at any given moment. Like when he said this about George Bush.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
People respected the person and also trusted the product. That was probably the height of both respect and trust for him. But when he stormed the stage in 2009,
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
he lost a lot of respect and had to drop the biggest album of his career to make sure we didn't lose trust in the product. We'll come back to that later. Did you know that Kanye had one of the most difficult paths to success in the industry?
People didn't think that it was possible. When I started off in Chicago as an artist, I'm a visual artist. Like I went to art school and I said I wanted to rap, and people said that wasn't going to work out. And then I started producing and selling beats, and I started selling beats to Jay-Z, Rockefeller, and that started going well.
But as simple as Kanye makes it seem, this is just the beginning. And what makes it so interesting isn't how successful he got. just learning everything that happened to make him resent the industry today. And it all starts during his childhood. So the year is 1989, and Kanye has just recorded his very first song, Green Eggs and Ham. He was only 12, so the subject matter made sense. At the time, his mom didn't have a ton of money, so they found a cheap $25 studio in someone's basement to record the song. But after recording the song, they realized they had a major problem. If Kanye was gonna get better, he was gonna have to record more music, but they just couldn't afford to do that, and even if they could, Kanye didn't have access to any beats. And a Kanye song without the beat just doesn't sound the same.
That major that she majored in don't make no money. Told me she majored in TV.
So in order to solve these problems, they put their heads together, and after a few months, they were able to buy Kanye the stuff he needed to make music in his room. It's kind of crazy, right? One of the greatest producers of all time only started producing beats because he couldn't find any. Although Kanye dedicated a lot of his time and energy to getting better at music, there was still a lot of luck sprinkled in as well. He was lucky enough to land jobs that helped him buy equipment, and he was also lucky enough to find people that wanted to buy the beats he was making. I mean, looking at his situation now, it makes a lot of sense. If Kanye couldn't find beats, that was probably the case for everyone else too. So becoming the solution to that problem kind of made Kanye the local hero. Now, whether you consider it persistence or luck, he had it. One thing that's really interesting about Kanye's career is that no matter what stage he was at, he was never really free of other people's opinions. I mean, people are usually quick to pass on their fears and failures and what they consider to be advice, and Kanye has gotten some pretty bad advice.
My father asked me that question. He said, I was a photographer. I wasn't one of the best, but son, what do you think you stand? And I looked at him, I said, I am the best.
But his biggest moment of luck at that time would actually come from his mom. One day, she found out her coworker had a son that was also pursuing music, so she thought that he could be a good mentor for Kanye. Little did she know that that son was soon-to-be legendary producer, No ID. Now, not only did he agree to mentor Kanye, he tried to manage him for a while, and as his manager, he tried to get Kanye a record deal. It's kind of crazy to see Kanye still refer to himself as Michael Jackson.
I'm Michael now. Every Michael you can think of.
Because that's one of the reasons No ID decided to stop managing him. During one of their label meetings, Kanye told everyone that he was the next Michael Jackson, but none of them could see it at the time.
Hey, yo, if you owe me money,
Alright, in all fairness, although Kanye had potential, he wasn't quite ready. Okay, so what would you do if you're fresh out of high school but need to buy yourself some time without people judging you for not chasing a career? Well, in the summer of '95, Kanye graduated from high school. Pressured by his college professor mom, he decided to go to college. But during the start of his third semester, he made a decision that would define the next chapter of his life. He decided to drop out of college. Kanye was lucky enough to have a really supportive mom, because in efforts not to fully discourage her son, she made a deal with him. Make your dreams happen in 1 year or go back to school. Kanye was officially on the clock, but he would also have to pay $200 a month in rent since he was now a full adult with no formal responsibility. Kanye would spend the next few months constantly being flown out and rejected by labels. During one of his all-expense-paid meetings at Sony, Michael Malden, who was head of urban music at the time, asked Kanye what he thought his niche was. He wanted to know what Kanye planned to bring to the game and what would set him apart. Unfortunately, Kanye never thought that far out. He had no real answer. He was too concerned with the music and being what he considered to be the next big sex symbol. But with all of his confidence, he told Michael, "I'm gonna be the biggest thing in music, even bigger than Jermaine Dupri." Now, I'm not entirely sure why Kanye chose to use him. Unfortunately, it backfired because Michael Malden is Jermaine Dupri's dad. But after years of trying and feeling stuck, Kanye reached a point that a lot of creators and entrepreneurs do.
Well, for a long time, people was telling me, man, if you go out to New York, you could really get your music on. You could really kill the game out there.
This was the point that Kanye realized that he was too big for his hometown. He had exhausted every resource possible, and if he wanted to reach the next level, he was gonna have to move.
I had two artists. One artist ended up leaving me, getting signed, and didn't get any beats from me. Then I had another artist, and I signed him to my company, and then he ended up leaving. I automatically, when that happened, I said, oh, I see what's happening. God don't want me to be here no more.
So with the help of his mom, he rented a $900 apartment in New Jersey, sight unseen.
And earlier, like 2 months before that, I was in a car accident where my expedition had flipped over 3 times.
According to Kanye, within the first few days of moving, he made this legendary beat.
So then Hove came in, and it came on, dun, dun, dun. And he was listening to it like, oh, it's crazy right here. I was like, yo, maybe he like him. Maybe Hove might buy this beat.
For 22-year-old Kanye, things were starting to look up, but he was still far from comfortable. Still living check to check, he had to struggle for every opportunity.
And so I was out here, I didn't have a car, so I used to just take the New Jersey Transit. Because I'm off the train, I'm from Chicago, I got $10 in my pocket right now, and I'm just having the opportunity to play these beats.
It's really interesting to see how wide-eyed and happy he was at this point of his career, but it's also really reassuring to learn that he also had to humble himself and figure it out just like the rest of us.
I was the type of nigga, man, I be out here broke. I mean, one time I was in the studio with Lil Kim. I couldn't afford to get in a cab, and they told me Shine wanted me to play some beats. This shit was like 20 blocks away. I grabbed my desk and ran to the studio because I didn't want him to leave before I got a chance to play up some beats, man. I was hungry, man. It's a lot of people, man, he asking for handouts, and they feel like the world owe them something because they ain't never had nothing, man. Niggas got that 40-acre and mule complex.
Now, you're probably wondering how Kanye was able to get in front of Jay-Z to play him some beats.
I met Ye, Just Blaze, and Guru all on the same day, man.
That's Memphis Bleak. He was signed to Rockefeller back in the day.
What had happened is I needed a new engineer, so he was like, yo, I got this engineer named Guru. So when he came through, he had Just Blaze with him. He make beats out of that. I'm like, yo, word. So then Just like, yo, I'm gonna call Ye over here because he got some beats too. You know what I'm saying? And then Jay come to the studio that night, niggas playing him all that heat. Here it is, history. One introduction, just the Guru, one nigga, and it just catapulted into what it is now.
Imagine what Kanye must have felt like at that moment. He became the most requested producer in rap, which changed his life financially. But with all the perceived success, there was still a major issue. People still didn't care for him as a rapper. The more successful he got, the harder it got to pull himself out of the producer box.
Big Face Gary, Rockefeller. I'm co-signing best rapper producer in the fucking game.
That don't even mean nothing to be like a best rapper producer.
No, it means a lot.
Fuck producer.
I keep saying best rapper producer, he mad.
Fortunately, this is a common issue. Kanye started making too much money and adjusted his lifestyle, so he couldn't stop producing. But the more successful he got, the more people wanted him to solely focus on production.
You know, I'm trying to get into that respect level as a lyricist. That's my biggest uphill battle right now. You know the stigma. Right. People feel like if you do something else that you can't do anything else.
But that created a dilemma for Kanye, who only started producing because he needed beats for his own music. Over the next 3 years, Kanye would take meeting after meeting with labels that always ended in rejection. Unfortunately, they just couldn't see his vision. Kanye was fed up and reached a crossroad. He could keep giving away his best material, or he could save it for himself and try to make his dreams a reality. Luckily, he made the right decision. After years of rejection, Capitol Records decided they were going to bet on Kanye the artist. But at the very last minute, Capitol decided to back out of the deal. Fortunately for Kanye, Dame Dash caught wind of what Capitol was trying to do with Kanye, so he offered him a record deal as well. According to Dame, he wanted Kanye to keep making beats for his artists, so he only offered him the deal to keep him from going somewhere else. Although this is what Kanye wanted, you'll see why this wasn't the best situation for him later in the story. But finally, 13 years of hard work was about to pay off because Kanye West was now a major label rapper. Alright, I want to share 3 quick takeaways that I got from the first chapter of Kanye's life. Number 1, nothing happens overnight. It took Kanye 12 years of hard work to get to his starting line. So if you're not willing to give anything at least 10 years of effort, you should probably find something else to do.
You know, it's hard when you're trying to do something different in the game. A lot of times people don't accept it, but I'd rather have a slow grind where you build a really strong fan base than just to bust out and have a hit single and then people don't remember you tomorrow.
Number 2, nothing's gonna happen the way you want it to, but it'll happen the way you need it to. And as long as you stay the course, luck will find you. And number 3, people have a hard time believing in themselves. So don't be mad if they don't believe in you. Just keep doing the work and eventually they'll come around.
They wait until you proving yourself. How can even Kevin Lyles tell me that I can't be a rapper, but he don't realize what I have in me. I have the ability to learn. But believe me, if I'm sitting in the studio with Jay-Z every day, you think I'm gonna learn? You think my beat sounded like Blueprint when I first started, though?
To say things got easier for Kanye after signing his deal would be too much of an understatement.
I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all.
Donda West died earlier this month after complications from cosmetic surgery.
I'm in the hospital.
Kanye had officially made it to the starting line.
I was drugged the fuck out, bro.
But now he had two options: fall off or make it. In the next section, we're gonna explore the challenges and roadblocks that Kanye had to overcome.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers.
I'm also gonna reveal the formula that has turned him into everyone's favorite bad guy.
It's probably gonna look like, and that's part of the reason why I'm the most influential person.
And if you're still watching at this point, you clearly like this video, so please scroll down and tap the subscribe button. Once again, I make videos that make life feel more normal, and your feedback helps me tell better stories and create better videos. Be sure to subscribe. So it's 2002, and Kanye isn't happy with the label, because soon after signing his deal, he realized that the label wasn't really interested in supporting him as an artist.
Let me play you some stuff.
Now, although Kanye wasn't getting the attention he thought he deserved, he was lucky enough to still be in the loop. But things were a lot different now. Kanye figured out exactly who his niche was.
I rap the exact image that I look like, and a lot of real people be like, damn, I actually go through that. Like, I'm not in the streets like that. I'm not really that rich.
He also crafted the perfect image that would appeal to them. But regardless of Kanye's product market fit, the people at the label simply didn't care. But that's when everything changed. Kanye decided to take matters into his own hands. He assembled a team of friends and started trying to market himself by any means necessary. He even camped outside of radio stations and stalked reporters until they were willing to grant him interviews. Now, after months of doing this, his name finally started to catch a buzz.
We want to send a giveaway shout out to music producer Kanye West. He's doing fine, but he was in a car accident, so we just want to send him our best friend. We hope he gets better soon and keeps doing those hot beats.
They say life sends you your biggest test right before you get the thing that you've been asking for the most. Well, in October of 2002, Kanye fell asleep while driving home, crashed into a car, and shattered his jaw.
I'm sitting up in that hospital for 7 days just to decipher between the wolves in my life, the direction I need to go in.
He wasn't sure if his face, let alone his mouth, would ever be the same again. But this moment would inspire Kanye in two ways. First,
when I had my accident, I found out at that moment, nothing in life is promised except death. If you have the opportunity to play this game of life, you need to appreciate every moment. A lot of people don't appreciate their moment until it's past.
But it would also inspire one of Kanye's greatest songs.
Man, just let me, I'll play through the wire for you because I just want to see your reaction.
My mouth was wired up.
You one of my favorite artists, man.
Oh shit, good looking at it.
Nah, for real. You gonna make it, and when you make it, keep the same perspective.
At this point, Kanye started getting a lot of buzz.
Kanye West, one of the top-notch producers and top-notch rappers in the game. I ain't gonna lie to you, he surprised the shit out of me.
But anyway, despite this perceived momentum, Kanye still couldn't convince the label to support him. So he started using his own money to pay for marketing and videos.
The reason why I make tracks at this point is to have enough money to pay for my t-shirts. I don't know if you know this, but my album keeps on getting pushed back. And I don't know if you know this, but my marketing budget is now open. I don't know if you know this, but they actually haven't paid for me to even have the black and white shot that people get when they originally get signed, which I got signed a year ago. I don't know if you know that this video cost me $33,000 that I paid for out of my pocket.
Most people in Kanye's situation probably would have complained and waited for something to happen. But after almost 14 years in music, Kanye was able to drop his first album, which ultimately changed his life.
And the Grammy goes to the college dropout, Kanye West.
It's obvious that Kanye went through a lot to earn his opportunity.
When I told my dad when I was 19 that I was going to get into the music industry, he begged me not to. Now I'm in a position where I've been through it. I saw it. I went out, made some money somewhere else. I saw my name get smeared. I saw my family get destroyed. I saw my reputation get destroyed.
But if he had to give his younger self advice, I think these are some of the things that he would say.
If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything. That's the main thing people are controlled by, their perception of themselves.
You know, some relationships only last for a summer. Some last for a year.
We get too caught up in the past and what everyone's saying and what everyone's tweeting. And sometimes you just have to be fearless enough to break the simulation.
I feel like everything that anybody ever said in life would be a disadvantage to me, I'm gonna make it my advantage. When I was playing basketball, everybody said I was too short. I'm killing them with the scoops, you know what I'm saying? Everybody says you can't rap because you're a producer. Okay. Oh, I ain't hear that beat. Oh yeah, I know, I produced it. I just rapped on it before you got a chance to hear it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna use everything that everybody says that I can't do, and I'm gonna flip it to the positive. Like, I look at everything as a glass half full and then half empty.
By this point of his career, Kanye had discovered the key list of things he needed to do to make sure he's always able to draw an audience. Number 1, always identifying with the base. When Kanye was a new artist, he always found a way to mention that he was doing this for Chicago.
Building Chicago in the building. You know, and definitely put Chi-Town on the map.
Man, hold on. This nigga from Chi-Town.
As time went on, Kanye has tapped into other bases like religion and even the MAGA audience. Number 2, saying the thing that isn't politically correct.
Well, you know I'm never politically correct.
You know, because to be able to still be the bad kid in class, because if you look at, like, say, fashion, right? If you think of something fashionable, it's probably gonna look like the kid in the principal's office. Yeah. And that's part of the reason why I'm the most influential person, because I refuse to leave the principal's office.
Number 3, presenting himself exactly how he wants people to think of him.
Kanye never told me specifically that he wanted to be God. He was evolving, and we were all witness to it. And in his last show, he was literally standing on a floating plexiglass deck over his adoring fans who had no choice but to praise to Jesus. You can't become Jesus in your living room. The space told him who he was about himself, and then he delivered that to us.
And number 4, sampling, or in other words, collaborating.
Hip-hop itself is based off of hype. It's based off of taking segments of people's music and then taking something that someone said on the street and taking this pattern right here and then taking this, loop up something that someone took mad years to learn how to play instruments and all this type of stuff. But one of the fundamentals of hip-hop is biting.
Like, I don't know how to play the piano. Like, I'm an artist. I went to art college. I'm not a real rapper either.
But what if I told you this wasn't Kanye's only dream? Well, you want to see everything Kanye went through to get into the world of fashion, from carrying this random dude's plates to interning at Fendi in 2009 and even being $53 million in debt? Well, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming videos.